Thank you, John. I just want to thank, real quick, Richard Smaglick for putting this whole thing together. I'm helping to put this together, and I have sponsored through the Lepanto Institute this event. But really, the driving force here is Richard Smaglick. He's standing in the back. If everybody could just please give him a round of applause. It's his drive and his desire to see WSOU shut down that is the force behind what we're doing right now. And in addition to St. John Paul II, who is here, I have also brought with us St. Michael. This is a relic from St. Michael's Cave. I was there personally 3 years ago where I was able to acquire this relic. It is a pebble from the stone, or a pebble stone from the cave of St. Michael in just near where Padre Pio was, and where he's currently buried. So the quick question is, what are we doing here? Why are we here? And the reason that we're here is because there is a radio station that is under the direct authority of the Cardinal Archbishop of Newark, New Jersey, that is broadcasting deeply violent, satanic, and sadistic music. Now, let me tell you something. Last night, I had a very restless night. And the reason it was restless is that my night was filled with nightmares. This is not something that I'm accustomed to. I don't have nightmares. And last night, I dreamed about a baby that was being cut up and served for meals. And I don't really know why I had that dream. It was very disturbing to me when I woke up this morning. And I can only imagine if that baby represents the Christ child, the innocence of Christ that we find in the Eucharist, then we witness the horror of what is going on with a cardinal archbishop who is serving our Lord to the unworthy. This would be the horror of serving a baby as a meal at a table. That's how horrifying it is. But that's what Cardinal Tobin signed a letter for at the USCCB. He signed a letter asking the bishops not to debate whether they should be denying Holy Communion to pro-abortion politicians. Now, why would he do this? Just look at the radio station that he's allowing to broadcast satanic music under his watch. Now, here's the thing. WSOU is a very old radio station. It got started very shortly after the advent of radio itself. And it has been attached to Seton Hall University since its very inception. But in 1987, almost a month after Theodore McCarrick became the Archbishop of Newark, New Jersey, that radio station changed its format and started broadcasting Judas Priest, Slayer, Dio, and other very deeply satanic heavy metal bands. That has only gone from bad to worse ever since. And one has to wonder, why Theodore McCarrick and why satanic music? The fact of the matter is, where you find homosexuality, you will always find the occult. And when you look at the crimes that Theodore McCarrick is guilty of, what he brought to this diocese, and then you see how it has transformed under his leadership and only gone down the tubes ever since. What he brought was homosexual predation and the occult. And now rooting it out is going to take an exorcism. It's going to take an exorcism, and we beseech Our Lady through the Rosary in order to exorcise this diocese of this demonic presence. WSOU's lyrics. I don't know how many of you have seen or heard what the radio station is broadcasting. When I listened to it for the very first time, Richard sent me some of the recordings of the music. I was sick to my stomach. Now, I have a cast iron stomach. I can eat the hottest foods on the planet. Just ask my wife. But when it comes to what this radio station was broadcasting, I've done research, deep dive research into pro-abortion activities. I've done deep dive research into the Catholic Church, participating in the promotion of sodomy. But this music was beyond sickening. just listening to the sound of it caused me to feel physically ill. The very first song that I listened to, I use that term loosely, described the brutal murder of a woman with a sledgehammer. The next one that I listened to was the description from a first-person perspective of the satanic ritual sacrifice of a virgin. Now you tell me, how is that in any way reflective of the mission or purpose of the Catholic Church? It isn't. Now, Fulton Sheen said, if souls are not saved, then nothing is saved. The mission and purpose of the Catholic Church is the salvation of souls. The bishop is supposed to be preaching the gospel and bringing souls to Christ. But what he is doing by allowing this broadcast to continue is not only leading souls to hell, those who are listening to this radio station, and indulging in their own interior fire, but consider the consequences of allowing broadcasts of prayers to demons and having that go on in perpetuity. It acts as a literal portal to hell. And those open prayers, those open professions of worship and adoration toward the demonic is going to draw the demonic into the diocese. And then what do you have? Somebody was just showing me a brochure this morning of an LGBT mass that took place. Do you know what they called the consecration? They called it the active ritual, or the actual ritual action. That was it. They called it the ritual action. What is that? But if you look at it in an occultic lens, then you start to understand that a ritual action, what they're doing is they're sacrificing Christ anew on the altar. So all these LGBT masses that are going on concomitant with the broadcasts of WSOU, you can see how they come together and actually participate in what would literally be a black mass. This is a very deeply satanic, dark, demonic activity, and it's beyond comprehension that a cardinal archbishop of the Catholic Church would not only not say anything about this, but actively permit it to continue. I know for a fact that many of you have contacted the bishop and tried to get him to talk to you about it, and he refuses. This isn't cowardice on his part. He's not a coward because he's not talking to you. He is avoiding you because he doesn't want to stop it. That's the only explanation for why this is being permitted to continue, because he wants it to. He wants this to happen. And until we get it through our heads that this cardinal archbishop is acting as an enemy of Christ, we have to understand. We have to understand. He is acting that way. So we have to pray for him. We have to pray for his soul, because if we don't, where is he going to find the grace? I don't even know if he's praying for himself. But we have to pray for him. It is an obligation. We have to do it. We have to pray to Our Lady to exorcise the diocese of what's going on. And we have to beseech through our penance and our sacrifices, because the only answer to this kind of thing is sacrificial love. We have to make penance, we have to make sacrifices, and that's why we are here to pray in reparation for the crimes and sins being committed against the Sacred and the Immaculate Heart. So, where do we stand? Well, we're all here, and I have to say I'm very edified to see what looks like roughly 150 people. This is a fantastic turnout. This is a fantastic turnout. So thank you all. God bless you all. And our next speaker. I'll have John Yep introduce our next speaker. Thank you.